you may be encountering an earthquake, you may be encountering a tsunami, you may be encountering a very heavy rainfall, you may encounter a cyclone, you may encounter water scarcity, you may encounter contamination of water or pollution. In 2025 prelims examination, there were 22 questions from this particular subject that we are talking about, that is geography. Or on daily basis, we are following current affairs as a different topic, math as a different topic, static as a different topic, which is again a totally wrong experience. What is UPSC asking? UPSC is asking integration of topics. UPSC asked a very basic question few years back, that why so many wars have been fought at Panipat. Population over Ganga plains can be related to availability of water, availability of soil, that is fertile soil. Geography is just not a subject having a role of 20 or 25% weightage in your prelims examination and then mains and then your interview. Rather, it is a type of subject which is having a lead role to play in your entire selection process. Only one person who can help you and only one person who can stop you from cracking this examination, and both these persons are you yourself. Hello everyone. We are here to discuss the role of geography in civil services examination preparation. How geography will be playing a major role in your journey towards cracking the 2027 prelims examination that will be held next year. What is the role of geography over here? That I will be discussing and will help you out in understanding the methodology or the techniques which should be followed while taking up this topic in your entire 1 year of preparation. But before starting with that, you should be well aware of the fact that why geography has been included in this civil services examination syllabus. The reason is that once you crack this examination and you enter the services, you may be posted as a district magistrate or as any of the bureaucrat working in different capacities in different government organizations, and in that capacity, you may be encountering an earthquake, you may be encountering a tsunami, you may be encountering a very heavy rainfall, you may encounter a cyclone, you may encounter water scarcity, you may encounter contamination of water or pollution, or anything happening in climate, anything happening in the coastal region, anything happening in the soil of the region, anything related to agriculture, then you should be having some first-hand knowledge, and that first-hand knowledge comes from this particular subject, geography. In order to have a first-hand knowledge, geography has been included in the core curriculum of UPSC, and it is having an overall weightage of almost 25% of your entire preparation. There are 4 pillars over which the citadel of UPSC can be erected, and one of the pillars that you have to construct in your preparation is geography. That is the role, that is the importance of geography, and this is the reason why geography has been included as one of the core subjects in your UPSC journey, that is civil services examination journey. Now, to understand the role of geography in your exact preparation, you need to understand it in all the 3 legs of preparation. The first leg of preparation is your prelims examination, and in your prelims examination, the entire syllabus has been divided into 2 papers, paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 2 is of CSAT. Geography is not concerned with that. Paper 1 is of GS, having 100 questions in total, and out of these 100 questions in this year, 2025 examination, the last examination, there were 22 questions. In 2025 prelims examination, there were 22 questions from this particular subject that we are talking about, that is geography. It means almost 20 to 22% weightage was there in the prelims examination from this particular subject, geography. If you are not able to attempt that, you cannot even think of cracking the prelims examination. So weightage of geography is very much persistent to crack this examination in your prelims. If you are able to crack this prelims examination and you move on to the next leg of examination, then you come to mains examination. In mains examination, the syllabus of GS has been divided into 4 papers. Out of that, paper 1. In paper 1, every year, 85 to 100 marks. Out of what? Out of 250. They are given to this particular subject, that is geography. That makes up what? That makes up almost 40% weightage in paper 1. So 40% of paper 1 can be answered by using geography as a subject. And even in the remaining 60%, many a times the questions are like that it is a club, it is a mix and match. It is clubbing of two subjects or two concepts or two ideologies. If two concepts or two subjects are clubbed into each other, then this weightage will further increase. This is the role of geography in GS paper 1. That is your mains exam. After that, I will talk first about GS paper 3. When we go for GS paper 3 as a subject, then in this particular paper, there is section of environment, there is section of disaster, there is section of science and technology. Along with that, there is section on now, if you are going for environment, if you are going for disaster, if you are going for science and technology, always there is a mix and match. Like many of the phenomena, many of the concepts of environment are based on the principles of geography. Like what is happening in lower troposphere, the lowermost layer of atmosphere, where you will study about troposphere as a component of our atmosphere in the subject geography, not in environment. In environment, you will be dealing with different aspects of troposphere. But what is troposphere? Why is troposphere extensive on equator? Why it is less extensive on poles? What is a horizontal structure? What is the composition? That all you study in geography. So geography supports environment. Then your disaster management. As I was talking, you suppose you are district magistrate and a tsunami is about to come or an earthquake hits your district. What will you do? So how to manage that? Then initially you need to understand what is a disaster. Now what is a disaster? Where you will study all these disasters. Earthquake is a disaster, tsunami is a disaster, volcanism is a disaster. Then excessive rainfall like by a cyclone, this is a disaster. So many types of disaster. Flood is a disaster, drought is a disaster, flood, drought, cyclone. Where will you study all that? That all will be studied in geography. How to manage that disaster becomes a component and a part of this GS paper 3. So again, geography will be pushing you through this syllabus of disaster and disaster management that is covered in paper 3. Officially not declared as a part of geography, but nowhere else you will study about these parameters. That will be taught only in geography. Then if we talk about science and technology, in science and technology, many of the aspects like what is happening in outer space, again relevance, some relation is with geography. In science and technology, we study about sun, we study about coronal mass ejection, we study about so many events, but they are having some or the other relation to geography. So again, geography serves as a pushback mechanism, a push mechanism for science and tech as a subject in GS paper 3. Along with that, you get a question on economics. Many a times, the question of economics are framed in which there are two parts of the question. One part is from economics, and the second part you cannot answer without using geography as a subject. So geography supports this paper 3 as well, although it has not been clearly specified by UPSC that geography is a part and parcel of paper 3. So part and parcel of paper 3 is environment, disaster, science and tech, environment, economics. But in every section, you will get some or the other support from this particular section, that is geography. Now, economics. How will you get a support in economics? In economics, you study about the secondary sector, that is the manufacturing sector. But where will the manufacturing sector or where will the iron and steel industry be placed? For that industrial location model that you will study in geography. Where is iron ore found? Where is coal found? That you will study in geography. Economics will do the level up. The next part will be played by economics. Where is the basic components, mines and minerals, location of mines and minerals, underwater biodiversity, that all you study, and the economic aspect you study in economics. So geography supports paper 3 as well. Now if we focus on the section, another section Another aspect, that is paper 2 of your mains examination. Paper 2 checks on what? Polity. It checks on polity, IR, governance. All that is covered in paper 2. Now, something that is happening between two countries internationally, something that is happening between India and China, or something that is happening between India and Nepal, or something that is happening between India and US. No, it is not possible to understand about Sino-India relation, that is India-China relations, or Indo-Nepal, or Indo-US relation, unless and until you know about the map work, unless and until you know about the whereabouts, until and unless you know that what is the land border between India and China, what is the land border between India and Nepal, and why is it at the center of dispute, or why anything related to IR is there in news. How will you understand that? Only geography will play the part. So even in paper 3, whenever you are talking about polity, IR, or if you are talking anything about domestic, then the state borders, how state borders are interconnected. What is the geographical stretch over there? Are the two state borders having forests in between where you will be taught? Not in polity. Why a teacher of polity will teach you about the forest existing at the border of two particular states? That will be taught in geography. Is there a mountain? Is there a river? Is there anything else? Who will teach you? Geography. So geography will assist you. It will provide a support, a help to you in your entire preparation of paper 2S. So geography, if you go by the basic books of geography, every first chapter in every standard book, it talks about the multidisciplinary approach of geography. That geography itself is not a subject. It is a combination of all the subjects. Because it is a combination of all the subjects, hence it serves as a base for all the subjects in your entire preparation of UPSC. So whether you go for paper 1 or you go for paper 2 or you go for paper 3, you won't be able to take strides, loops, unless and until you are having a command over this particular subject, that is geography. That is the role, that is the importance of geography. If you are through with the mains examination, all these 3 papers, then the paper 4 is of ethics. Ethics is not to be cared about much. But when you come to this paper of essay, the paper is divided into 2 sections, section A and section B. And in every section, you are supposed to write 1 essay. No matter you take any of the topics, when you are writing a complete essay for 1000, 1200, 1500 words, then in that entire component, geography plays a role over there. And always, whether you want or you don't want, you yourself will be inclined, you yourself will be having a sense of writing some aspect of geography. You may realize that or you may not realize that, but geography will play a role over there in set A and in section A and section B, in both these sections, in writing essays. So just to sum up, in your mains examination, in GS paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, geography is playing a role. In your paper on essay, geography is playing a role. In your optional subject, if you are having geography, it is so far so good. Even if geography is not your optional, even in that case, no matter you take any of the options, there is none of the optional which is available, which is not having the role of geography. You cannot claim any optional without a touch of geography. No matter you take any option. I'm not talking about maths option. I'm talking about humanities subject. So if you talk about any of the optional subject in humanities, there will be 5 to 10% role of geography. So geography is one of such subjects which is very much centric and very much a base for your entire preparation of this UPSC civil services examination. And suppose you are through with the mains examination, which you reach this leg of examination that is called as personality test, or in common terms, the same is termed as an interview. If you go for this interview, there is a panel of 5 members who are sitting over there and you are seated over here. The chairman, M1, M2, M3 and M4. And in that 30 to 40 minutes of period, You will be asked almost 40 to 45 questions. And come what may, whether you are having any background, your DAF, detailed application form, is saying anything about your career background, about your academic background, about your family background, about your liking, disliking. Out of these, again, almost 20 to 25% questions will be having a direct play of geography. It may not be static geography. It may not be the core concepts of geography, but what will be important? Like, suppose the question comes upon any current topic, US-Iran war going on. And along with US, Israel is playing its role. Right? So Middle East comes to the discussion. What the member will ask you the question? That Middle East at the center of discussion. US is bombing Iran. Israel is supporting that. They are claiming that Iran is about to prepare nuclear weapon. We want to stop that. All that. They will ask you a very simple question. Why Middle East is called as a Middle East? Now, why Middle East called as a Middle East? Who will teach you? Polity? Science and tech? Environment? No. Geography. Or the section of map will teach you that why Middle East is called as a Middle East. Then apart from that, if Middle East is not the center of discussion, that why Middle East is called as a Middle East, what other type of questions can be asked? The questions can be asked on Israel, question can be asked on UAE, question can be asked on Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, and so on. So what is the respective location of Bahrain with Iran? Why Strait of Hormuz is so very important, and why Iran is having a dominating position over Strait of Hormuz? Why Iran is able to attack Qatar, is able to attack Bahrain, the US bases over there? What is the role Saudi Arabia playing over there? What is the relation of Saudi Arabia and Israel? Are they having a contiguous border? Is Qatar having a contiguous border with Iran? Yes, sir. All this stuff, where will you study? Only and only in this particular subject, that is geography. So if you are following current affairs, which is very much important for your interview. So if you are going for the interview, UPSC Civil Service Examination, maximum focus will be given on current affairs, and in order to understand the current affairs, maximum requirement is of you will be better able to comprehend, you will be better able to retain in your brain that what has happened between France and Germany, not related to India, but what is happening between France and Germany, which may be asked in interview. What is happening between France and Germany? If you are well aware about the location of France and Germany with respect to each other, with respect to Europe, with respect to world, with respect to India, and where it will be taught? Only in this particular subject, that is geography. So what I am trying to explain you over here is that geography is just not a subject having a role of 20 or 25% weightage in your prelims examination and then mains and then your interview. Rather, it is a type of subject which is having a lead role to play in your entire selection process. And even after your selection, this subject will keep on helping you. It is one of the subjects that will help you in your daily life, in understanding the weather, in understanding the climate, the type of soil, the type of cultivation, which plant to be sowed at which place. Every aspect of your daily life will be having a role to play in geography. Eating habits, fooding habits, clothing habits, type of culture, type of religion, type of society, everything will be having a role that can be explained using geography as a subject. That is the importance of geography in your preparation. After going through this understanding that how geography is important, why geography is important, and what is the specific mark-based role of geography in our selection process, the next question arises, what to study? How to study? From where to study? So from where the clear-cut solution is LevelUp IAS. Come, we will teach you. But just for your understanding, from where to study, geography is having three components. The first component is your static portion. The second component is map-based questions. And the third component is your current affairs. So how static portion, map-based and current affairs, three sections, three parts of geography can be taken up that you should understand. First of all, what is the static portion and why we get confused in static portion? We go to one of our friends, colleagues, a shopkeeper, which book should be studied for geography. That person recommends us a book. Your faculty, your teacher recommends you another book. Your super senior, who is in this area only, preparing for UPSC since last 3 years, written 2 mains, given 2 interviews, but not selected, they will recommend you a third book. Now you get confused. What you do, or what most of the aspirants who are new in preparation, they get confused and they start buying 2 or 3 books. And they think that we will be able to complete all these books because we are having time, we are studious, we are laborious. Yes, we will do that. No, it's not required. First of all, none of the books available in the market is absolute. None of the book available in the market covers or caters to the entire demand of UPSC. It is impractical, impossible. So every book is having some loopholes, some plus, some minus, some pros, some cons. Select one book, and the best book is the one that is recommended to you by your faculty members. Go for that book. Read that book multiple number of times. Instead of reading these 2 or 3 books one time, go for this one book 3 times. It will be far more beneficial than any other thing. And apart from that, what else you need to follow? You need to follow NCERT textbooks. How many NCERT textbooks of geography are available? 11 in number. Class 6 to class 10th, 1 each. Class 11 to class 12th, 3 each. So 5 over here, 6 over here. Total number of NCERTs are 11. Follow the NCERT textbook. But what problem do students face in following the NCERT? They start following the NCERT simply as a textbook. They read it up, mug it up, try to learn the things over there. No learning is required. Is learning required in UPSC? Or how much can you learn? You are not robot. You are not having a hard disk or a random access memory in your brain. Is learning possible? No, learning is not possible. At least in geography, learning is not required. Why learning is not required in geography? Because in geography, like in maths, if you know addition, if you know subtraction, if you know division, if you know multiplication, and so on, you can go through a problem of average, profit, loss, discount, or any other topic, mensuration, you can carry it out. In the same manner, geography is having a sense of interconnectedness. One section of geography, like one section of geography over here, climate, is related to another section that is geomorphology. In the same manner, geomorphology is having relations with oceanography. All these three components are having a relation with society. If they are having a relation with society, it is having a direct impact on human geography. Human geography is what? Society, industries, settlement. So that all becomes a part and parcel interconnectedness. So if we are answering a question on geomorphology, how Himalayas are formed, or why Himalayas are having the height of XYZ that is right now existing, any of the mountain peaks, then that can be answered in which oceanography will also be having its role. Marine sediments are present over there. Climate will also be having a role. Erosion of the Himalayas is taking place. Geomorphology, it is a question of geomorphology itself. Because of that typical type of topography, that is the shape of the land, how the society is getting affected, how agriculture is getting affected, how industrialization is getting affected, how settlements are getting formed, how human geography as in totality is getting affected, and hence economic geography is also having a role to play. So all that is interconnected. It is not aloof. And what the students make mistake, why they find geography as difficult? NCERT, static portion, one thing, completed, one topic completed. No sync, no interlinking. And we over here teach the interlinking of the topics so that when the question comes up in your mains examination, question is not a direct question. We keep on focusing on text, facts, a particular topic. And what is UPSC asking? UPSC is asking integration of topic. how this topic may result or may impact the society, or what is the role of this topic in economic development of the region, what is the role of this fact or the text in any other parameter. That is the demand of UPSC. Now you have gone through this topic, but you have left this also, integration. So if integration is left out, then despite knowing everything in mains examination, you are not able to write a good answer, and that becomes one of the central problem of the aspirants who are going for mains examination. This needs to be avoided. What else you need to follow? You need to follow this map. Now, map is what? When the topic comes up on map, the first thing that comes to our mind is what? Rivers, mountains, city, capital cities, plateau, grasslands, forest. Then 7 continents in the world. Every continent is having so many countries. You can learn the rivers, mountains, city, capital, plateau, grassland, forest, and this list is unending. For each and every continent, for each and every country, is it possible? Not possible. Is it possible for these continents? Not possible. As soon as the map comes, the first thing that comes to our mind is that mugging up. We need to learn the map. We need to mug it up, which is absolutely a wrong approach. The only way to prepare a map is to look at them. Keep looking at a map on daily basis. Keep looking at a map every on and off. Whenever you get the time, keep looking at the map. If you will look at the same map multiple number of times, that map will be having an imprint in your brain, a direct image in your brain, and whatever question that a UPSC will ask, in 99, I will not say 100%, but in 99% of the cases, you will be able to derive the correct answer to this particular question. Like UPSC asks the question, if you are traveling from a town in Arunachal and you have to go to Kerala, then what is the minimum number of states that you will be crossing? If this is a question that has been framed, the question says that you are traveling from Assam, just an example, Assam to Kerala. What is the minimum number of states that you will be crossing? Okay, you can learn for Assam and Kerala. How many different type of questions can be framed on the same pattern, on the same theme? Is there any end to that? No. N number of questions can be framed. How many will you learn? Will you be able to learn all that? No, not possible. Then what to do? Look at the map. Derive an answer then and there in the examination hall. This should be your approach for map-based questions, and this is the approach that we follow over here at LevelUp IELTS. Then the next aspect over here is your current affairs. Again, what is the problem over here? Static portion of geography. It is one aspect. Map is one aspect. And current affair is the third aspect. This will be the second aspect. And this is the third aspect. What do students do? We are doing static today. For next 1 week, we will do static. After that, for 2 days, we will do map. And then we will follow current affairs. Or on daily basis, we are following current affairs as a different topic. Map as a different topic. Static as a different topic, which is again a totally wrong approach. There should be integration of static with map, integration of static with current affairs, map with current affairs. Anything that is coming up in current affairs, that should be synced with the static portion. Anything that is coming up in current affairs should be synced with the map portion. It should not be skipped. It should not be left. It should not be left it like you should not leave it like that. Rather, there should be a correlation between them. So always when you are using current affairs related to static, and when you are relating or studying static related with current affairs, map will automatically be included in both the sections, whether it is a static portion or whether it is a current affairs. So if you are going for static, if you are going for current affairs, you should sync it with map, and they all should be interrelated. There should not be a mismatch that today we are doing static, tomorrow we are doing. They should not be taken as separate things for your entire preparation of this journey. The next aspect is about geography and the syllabus given by UPSC for what? For civil services examination. And UPSC has given a syllabus, and that syllabus says that topics are given over there, mentioned over there. Geography as a subject is having a problem. The problem is that boundaries not defined by UPSC. Like if you are going through a topic on tropical cyclone, from where you should start and what is the final point? This has not been specified by UPSC. Something related to disaster, cyclone, same for earthquake, same for any other disaster. The boundaries are not specified. And they are not specified either for prelims or for mains or for interview. Personality tests. They are not specified. Because the boundaries are not specified, it becomes slightly problematic that how or how much to study. And a clear-cut line and length that we have to keep in mind is again we have to follow the undefined syllabus only. The syllabus of the mains examination is given over there. We need to move around the syllabus, not going too far away from the syllabus, not concentrating ourselves to the exact terms of the syllabus. That is the only key, only way out by which you can sync your preparation as per the syllabus of the examination. Examination will test you on skills, on analysis, applicability, importance, economic aspect, human aspect. Or we can keep on writing in this manner. For what? For any of the topics on which you are studying, like for example, we take the example of plate tectonics. Then what is the analytical part of plate tectonics? How you can apply that? If you are going through any of the landscape, how can you use the knowledge of plate tectonics to understand the landscape? What is the importance of plate tectonics in the days to come with respect to disaster? Because of this, what can be the economic aspect? What can be the human aspect? Like what the aspirants make a mistake, they study on plate tectonics. They study about convergence, divergence, whatever are the intricacies of this topic, plate tectonics, they will delve into the details of that. And UPSC is not asking that. UPSC is asking the applied part. That how will this impact the human beings, the economical angle, the geographical angle, the environmental angle, or a biodiversity angle, how it will be affected. That is the role of geography. In the same manner, suppose the question comes up on, like we were discussing about cyclone. So structure of cyclone is no more a demand of UPSC. Or if we are talking about an earthquake, then the reasons for the earthquake is not a demand of UPSC. And a static portion is filled with that. That how the earthquake originates, what the earthquake may do, how a cyclone is formed, how the cyclone moves, what will the cyclone do, that is there in the static books. And we spend our entire time wasting on that. But that is not the demand of UPSC. UPSC has gone way ahead of those topics. And UPSC is now demanding the applied part of an earthquake. And applied part is this part. What is the role of earthquake over here? And this is not given in the standard books. This is taught in coaching institute. This is taught when you are able to sync an earthquake with a cyclone, an earthquake with geomorphology, earthquake with climatic aspect, earthquake with oceanography, earthquake with any other aspects of geography, then you get a clear-cut understanding about this syllabus that is mentioned by UPSC. And UPSC is asking you on that. The problem is that students are wasting their time into what? Into static books. And then they are wasting their time into map. Map means learning atlas. They want to learn the entire atlas, which no one has been successful in doing that. And what other thing? They want to follow current affairs as a separate subject or a separate thing. Now, thing over here is that unless and until you sync all three, till then you won't be able to understand the demand of UPSC. UPSC is not working on to that. UPSC asked a very basic question a few years back, that why so many wars have been fought at Panipat. It was almost 10-12 years back. I cannot recall the exact year. UPSC asked the question in GS paper 1, that why so many wars have been fought at Panipat. None of the books of history, none of the books of geography or any of the subject has ever dealt with that why Panipat is had so many wars. How will you write an answer to that? You have completed the entire static portion of history or geography. Will you be able to write an answer to that? No. You need to derive an answer over there. And that derivation over there was a mix of history plus geography. Only then the answer can be written over. UPSC in 2025 asked the questions on population in Ganga Plain. Now, population in Ganga Plain cannot be related to one aspect of geography. Population over Ganga Plains can be related to availability of water, availability of soil, that is fertile soil, alluvial soil over here, availability of water, availability of fertile soil. Water means you are having rivers over there, availability of suitable topography, that is the plain area, right? Ancient civilization. So what is that? Availability of water, soil is there, topography is there, ancient civilization was there. All this add to the existence of current population of UP, Bihar. So this region is having this population, high population density because of all these parameters, and there can be 10 more parameters over here. But where will you read that? In any of the textbook or any of the subject? No. You have to develop your own skill. If you have to develop your own skill, what is required? A pragmatic understanding, a clear-cut understanding, an interlinking of the topics. That syllabus needs to be clubbed, at least for the subject geography. And again, when we switch over to static, map, and current affairs, all should be linked to each other so that you are able to derive a good answer in your mains examination. The second, one more aspect that the students go for, facts, figures. They give their life on that. Factual data, figures. That is not required in UPSC. UPSC never go for factual questions. Even if it goes for factual questions, there is some other concept behind it. It appears as if the question is factual. But exactly, UPSC is asking you a question on a concept. In order to check the concept, it has mentioned the figures. And the validation of the figures is not mandatory to derive an answer to that particular question. And here the students make a mistake. They keep on learning the facts and figures. It is not required. Now, the UPSC is clearly working on concept. So conceptual clarity is very much centric for your command over this particular subject, geography. And geography is not at all about facts and figures. Geography is about conceptual. If you are able to understand the concept of weather, if you are able to understand the concept of condensation, if once you are able to understand the concept of condensation, you can clearly apply this concept on cloud formation, on dew formation, on fog formation, on mist formation, on rain, and so many things. The thing is what? You should be having a clear-cut idea of condensation. So all the topics are interlinked. All the topics are merged into each other. And what is the requirement over here? This concept. If you are having conceptual clarity, then you can very well be able to handle the questions of geography very easily and in a comfortable way without any gaps. But for this conceptual clarity, you have to stop reading multiple books. You have to stop reading multiple contents. You have to focus on one book, and you need to have the ability. You need to develop this ability to sync one topic with another topic, at least in the subject, that is geography. The next aspect where students make a mistake is answer writing. They learn so much. They learn very heavily. They mug it up. Everything is mugged up. They mug up. Content in their brain is very large. So much content. It is large content pool. It is a whole pool of content. And what is UPSC asking? A 150 worder or a 250 word answer. Now they are having a pool, and this pool is having 20,000 words on that one topic. I'm not talking about the entire preparation. One topic, they are having a pool of 20,000 words, and UPSC is asking for 150 or a 250. How they will take out this material? So what was the use of this? Wasn't it a waste of time? Yes, it is a waste of time. So you need to avoid this. You need to work on this. The second thing in answer writing, people start working on vocabulary. That vocabulary should be very high. No, clear communication is required. Instead of working on vocabulary, work on this. This is not required. Whatever you are trying to say, you should write that, and it should be clearly communicated to the examiner. Instead of working on vocabulary, work on that. If you are through with that, you are through with UPSC in your preparation. The next thing about answer writing is that in geography, use of figures, use of maps, use of flowcharts is very much simple. Drawing of map of India. Only this much map of India. It will take not even 3 seconds once you practice. Only this much map of India. No need to draw the entire map. What is the use of drawing an entire map over? Don't make the entire map. Use only this much map. And you have to show the Himalayas. Show Himalayas like this. You have to show Delhi like this. Kolkata over here, Mumbai over here, Surat over here. Go in this manner. It will help you out. If in the same manner, if you have to draw the world map, do it like that. And people, aspirants, students who take admissions in various institutes, what they do, they start practicing the map with the stencil. That it should be a clear-cut curve like this. No artistry is required. A rough map will solve the purpose. The only thing is that the teacher or the faculty or the examiner want to see whether you are having a clear-cut understanding or not. Whatever that you are writing, is it a mugged up content or it is a content that you have understood in your brains? If you are able to depict that, if you are able to prove that, your work for map, your work for figures or diagrams is over. So work on this map related work. Anything that is a content is written over there. And if this content is supported by any type of figure, any type of map, or any type of flowchart, it adds value to your answer. It adds more understanding to your answer. Your content may not be readable, your handwriting may not be very good. And even if your handwriting is very good, examiner is rushing through your answer. He may overlook a certain aspect, but if this flowchart or the map or the figure is made over there, definitely there will be a sense of attraction towards this flowchart, and the examiner will be able to better comprehend what you are trying to say, and hence this helps very much in your answer writing. Are you getting that? Then, after that, and this is the last point, whenever you are preparing for UPSC, the most important part, apart from all that, over and above all that you heard that I have spoken in last few minutes, the most important part is strong will, self-determination, and a very, very strong trust on self. The most important part. Yes, I can, and I will. If you are able to do that, no one can stop you from cracking this examination. A strong will, not under pressure of a parent, family, friends, colleague, or it is one of your options to lead a good life. No, not like that. A strong will to crack this examination. Self-determination. Once determined, then you will give up your life for this. You will give up your 100% dedication, devotion to that. And very, very strong trust on self. अपने आप पे भरोसा कर. There are only two persons who will moderate your preparation. There is one person who can help you crack this examination, and there is one person in this entire world who can stop you from cracking this examination. Only one person who can help you, and only one person who can stop you from cracking this examination, and both these persons are you yourself. I will tell you, give your 100% time for UPSC preparation. But how will I come to know what is your 100%? You are sitting in the room is locked from inside, studying, but using your mobile phone. Who will decide this 100%? You will decide. So if you decide that I will give my 100%, and you are able to define your 100%, and you are satisfied with your 100%, no one can stop you in cracking this examination. Who can stop you? You yourself. Because you are not true to this 100%. You are cheating yourself. You are telling a lie to yourself. You are cheating yourself. Don't do that. So work on this, stop this, and the success will be at your doorstep, and you will be there in civil services examination as an IAS officer. This is all that I could have explained in this small time frame. Rest, whenever you will join the institute, we will be having geography classes, and we will carry on our discussions in every stage, in every walk of this geography preparation. Thank you, everyone.